Have you worked in a company for 5 years or more? You could be entitled to receive lakhs of rupees as gratuity, but many employees don't know how to calculate it. In this video, you'll learn when are you eligible, how gratuity is calculated, how much amount can you receive, and we'll build a fully automatic gratuity calculator in Excel. Let's begin. Gratuity is a lump sum amount given by an employer to an employee as a token of appreciation for the employee's long and faithful service. Gratuity is a legal right once an employee satisfies the required conditions. Now, let's look at what those conditions are. The most important condition is an employee should complete 5 years of continuous service with the same employer. Generally, employees become eligible after completing 5 years of service. However, some court judgments have considered 4 years plus 240 days of service as equivalent to 5 years in certain cases. Now let's see. Who is covered under the Gratuity Act? The Payment of Gratuity Act applies to establishments where 10 or more employees are employed. Once the Gratuity Act becomes applicable to an establishment, it continues to apply even if the number of employees later falls below 10. Now, the important question is, how is gratuity calculated? The formula for gratuity calculation is gratuity equals last drawn salary times 15 divided by 26 into completed years of service. Now, let's understand each part. The salary component considered for gratuity calculation is basic salary plus dearness allowance. It is calculated using the employee's last drawn monthly salary. Other components like HRA, bonus, other allowances are not included in gratuity calculation. Important rule: rounding of service period. While calculating years of service, if the additional service period is more than 6 months, it is counted as a full year. Example: 10 years and 7 months equals 11 years. 12 years and 5 months equals 12 years. When is gratuity legally receivable? An employee becomes entitled to receive gratuity when their employment comes to an end. Once gratuity becomes payable, the employer is required to pay the gratuity amount within 30 days from the date it becomes payable. If the payment is delayed beyond this period, interest may be applicable as per the provisions of the Payment of Gratuity Act. Interest is calculated using the simple interest formula. Tax treatment of gratuity. Under the Income Tax Act, gratuity received is exempt up to 20 lakhs rupees. Any amount above the applicable exemption limit may have tax implications. Now let's calculate gratuity automatically using Excel. Imagine we are creating a gratuity calculator for employees. First, create these columns. We have our basic employee info, employee ID, name, last month's basic salary, and dearness allowance. Then we have the 2 critical dates, date of joining and date of leaving. Now we check whether the employee is eligible under the standard 5 years rule. We use the if and DATEDIF function together. DATEDIF formula tells Excel, look at the start date in E2 and end date in F2. Calculate the difference in years. Y in inverted comma means completed years. And if the years are 5 or more, mark them as eligible. This checks completed years of service, and give not eligible in case the number of years worked is less than 5 years. Copy and paste the formula down. Now Excel will automatically give the eligible employees. Next up, we need the rounded years of service. If an employee works more than 6 months into a new year, it legally rounds up to the next full year. To calculate the completed years of service in Excel, we start by using the DATEDIF function. This returns the completed full years between the date of joining and the date of leaving. Next, we need to check whether the employee has completed more than 6 months after the last completed year. For that, we use the if function together with the EDATE function. We compare the date of leaving with another date calculated using the EDATE function. EDATE returns a date by adding a specified number of months to a starting date. In our case, the starting date is the date of joining, which is E2. Next, to calculate the months, we use DATEDIF. First, DATEDIF calculates the completed years of service. We then multiply those years by 12 to convert them into months. After that, we add 6 months. Finally, EDATE adds those months to the date of joining and returns the date on which the employee completes exactly 6 months after the last completed year. Now we compare this date with the date of leaving. If the date of leaving is greater than this date, it means the employee has completed more than 6 months. So Excel adds 1 extra year. Otherwise, it adds 0. This gives us the correct number of years to use for gratuity calculation. Now we calculate the final gratuity amount using a simple Excel formula. First, we add the salary components. This means basic salary plus dearness allowance. This gives us the last drawn salary. Then we apply the gratuity formula factor, 15 divided by 26. To calculate the completed years of service, we apply the if condition. If the employee is eligible, G2 equals eligible, then gratuity is calculated using service years. If the employee is not eligible, then result will be 0. And just like that, you have a completely automated gratuity calculator. Now let's understand the second eligibility condition for gratuity. If an employee has completed 4 years and 240 days of service, they may still be considered eligible for gratuity in some cases. To calculate this, we compare the date of leaving with the calculated eligibility date. We use the EDATE function. Select date of joining and start date, and type 48 in months condition, which equals 4 years. Then we add 240 days on top of that. If the employee's leaving date is greater than or equal to this value, Excel will mark them as eligible. Otherwise, it returns not eligible. Now, to calculate gratuity under the 4 years and 240 days eligibility rule, we don't need to change the entire formula. We simply change the eligibility reference from G2 to J2. Everything else remains exactly the same. Now, if the employee is eligible under the 4 years and 240 days condition, Excel will calculate the gratuity amount. Otherwise, it will return 0. And that's how you can build a complete gratuity calculator in Excel from scratch. If you'd like a copy of this gratuity template, simply comment gratuity below, and I'll share it with you. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Alphawolf for more practical Excel tutorials that you can use in your daily work. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.